Just reading the New York Times featured article for today, January 1st, 2026. Yes, we've entered a new year, and many people are thinking of goals, the meaning of their lives, to better themselves, their health, their weight, relationships or finances, etc. So I thought it would be really nice to talk about what the New York Times featured today. It was not what is generally featured in the news, like war, crime, political turmoil, mass shootings, etc. Instead, they were doing something different, featuring the psychology of hope. The article was entitled, "What Gives You Hope?" It was noted that people don't trust each other, the media, or the government, and that most Americans don't feel that their children will have a life better than theirs. It was noted that the country in general has actually become very cynical and that hope is lacking. Welcome to the Mind Talk podcast, where we delve into the roots of dis-ease, growing deep in the subconscious mind. I am your host, Diane Vanis, with over 25 years in energy medicine. Let's talk about the brain as a prediction machine. Our brain is wired to protect us, keep us safe, and it's constantly evaluating the experiences that we have had and predicts the future based on those experiences. So really the key is to update our predictions of the future, finding a purpose, envisioning a better future, having the motivation to move toward that future, where we want to be, and how we will get there. I really liked how the New York Times said that we have to become less cynical because cynicism squashes hope and trust. It tends to focus on all the selfish things that people do, their faults, everything going wrong, and the encouragement was to try positive gossip, speaking positively about others, which would mean you would have to be looking for something positive about them to speak of, or about the world around us, looking for those random acts of kindness, hearing the laughter of children, really appreciating the beauty in nature, and our belief in God and His promises for the future. Hope is one of the really big things that impacts our well-being and our outlook on life. Scientists have discovered hope molecules, cytokines, that make us feel good from exercise, the movement of our muscles. Well, what about mental exercise? So if we say that our brain is this prediction-making machine, and it constantly predicts the future based on the past, then we could also say that our body is like a time machine for our emotions, and we're constantly going back in time to what happened to us in the past, reliving those subconscious emotions, constantly on a roller coaster ride in the past, versus letting those negative, impactful emotions and experiences go, and creating our future cognitively in the present from our conscious awareness. Just to show how much of a prediction-making machine our brain is, when we feel thirsty and we drink water, it actually takes like a half hour before that water that we drink right now is going to reach different parts of our body, and our body will feel satiated. But the brain is gauging how much is needed So when we feel like we've quenched our thirst, actually that water hasn't even gone anywhere yet. It's a prediction. And the brain does the same thing on a subconscious level about everything in our world. It's predicting outcomes based on calculations from our past. And it just actually serves us up the same emotions we've already felt, so that we are being warned not to do a particular thing whenever the brain feels threatened. So are we ever really consciously aware of what we're doing? Or are we just frozen in time, reliving the same things over and over? Physical sensations that are triggered by some stimulus in our environment that reactivates a memory. And these are generally a database of unconscious memory, the subconscious. This is how our brain is designed to stay ahead of the game, but actually we're stuck in the past. We need to update our predictions constantly in life in order to grow. So I think this is where hope comes in, because hope is about, in a sense, optimism that we can have some kind of power in our life to create a better future, or that we can trust that things are going to get better instead of always predicting the worst. Maybe since we're talking about emotions, we could do a little emotional resolution exercise. So, how are you feeling emotionally? If you could wave a magic wand and make one situation, thing, relationship, change, heal, improve, make something better, ask yourself this honest question: how do you feel emotionally about that situation? What physical sensation came up into your body? Just think about your life today, this very moment, and that physical, emotional sensation. Close your eyes and just let your emotional digestive system melt, change, let go of that emotion. Stop fighting it and just do nothing and let it process, because really it only takes from 2 to 90 seconds to process an emotion if we're actually feeling it, versus creating stories and getting our thinking brain involved. So, how do you feel emotionally about that situation now? You might have had another emotion surface. Just repeat the process. Or you might feel neutral now regarding that situation. So you really have repaired the grid or the energy matrix of your body so that energy can flow freely instead of getting stuck like a broken record every time that emotion was triggered. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope that you have a wonderful year ahead of you. So instead of living in the past and reliving our emotions, let's experience life fully in the present and create our future with hope. Thank you.